communicate that you are worth listening to, that there's something about your background or what you've done or the data that you're possessing or the mentor that you've got that gives you some sort of authority to be talking about this. So clarity and authority, defining some sort of a problem that the customer has or some sort of problem that exists in the world that needs solving and that you've identified an insight or a solution for that problem. Then the why, which I would say is about communicating why you care enough about this that people would buy into you as the person to drive this forward. You then want to define the opportunity. What is the bigger opportunity for anyone who gets involved? The next steps. What should someone do next? And then the emotion or the essence that you want to leave people with so that they remember you based on that essence or that emotion that you made them feel. So that's the great arc of an inspiring pitch.
What was the last one there? Was it the emotion?
So clarity, authority, problem solution, the why, opportunity, next steps, and the essence. And it spells out capstone.
Capstone.
So that's how I remember a great pitch. I had to come up with a way of remembering this because I was pitching so often. I had to be able to come back to, okay, how do I pitch this?
So the essence, that's the one I wanted some more definition
People remember you based on how you made them feel. So you want to think, how do I want to leave people feeling? What's the emotion that I want people to remember?
When I'm pitching.
Yeah. So you want to finish the pitch on an emotion. You want to finish the pitch by expressing what it is that you, essentially, what is the emotion or the feeling that you want this business to be about.
And what's the opposite of that then, the emotional piece? So what's a pitch that is lacking?
A lot of pitches finish on next steps and it's very logistical. So I've seen a lot of pitches that are going great and then they go, and then here's what we need to do next, blah, blah, blah. And then it becomes a little to-do list and everyone goes, oh, that kind of landed flat. And if you finish on the essence, then you actually just bring people back to this is what it's really about. So that even though we've talked about opportunities and next steps and the finances and all that sort of stuff, you want to finish on this is what we're really about. This is what we're up to in the world.
I've been thinking a lot about, some adjacent subjects to what we're talking about here, but this idea that if you just asked 5 times more than you're currently asking, your life would change. Mm-hmm. The secondary example I was going to give after my coffee machine example from when I was 16 was when I was 18 and I was completely broke, and that's when I was shoplifting those Chicago Town pizzas to feed myself. And I was starting this business called Wallpark, and I needed camera equipment. I sent 20 emails to camera companies saying, hey, I've got this website I'm going to launch. We're going to record videos on campus. I need some cameras. If you lend us the cameras, we'll put your logo on all the videos we make on campus. Within 72 hours, Samsung had sent £10,000 worth of camera equipment to my front door in Marseille. I got an email the day after the cameras arrived and it said, these are returns. Send them back when you don't need them anymore. And I'd solved someone's problem for him because he had returned cameras in a warehouse that he didn't know what to do with. Yeah. He sent me £10,000 worth of camera equipment for free within 72 hours.
You just asked.
And I go, oh my God, like when you're at the bottom and you have nothing to lose and you have an internet connection and a Gmail account, why aren't you sending out 20, 30, 50 emails a day asking?
You think in emails, I think in calls, because when I was 18, you pick up the phone and make a call. I always had this rule called make 3 calls. And I remember a nightclub party that I saw these 15-year-olds sitting in the street. I'd just turned 18 and I was loving going to nightclubs. And I saw these 15-year-olds and they're skateboarding and they're hanging out in this little area. And they were asking me what it's like to go to a nightclub. And I said, oh, someone should put on an under 18s nightclub party so that you can experience it and see what it's like. And they're like, oh, that would be amazing. And I thought, oh, I'm going to do it. So I called the nightclub I'd been going to and said, oh, I have a promotions company and we run nightclub parties for under 18s during the school holidays. We've selected your venue to be one of our venues for the next holidays. Would you be interested in discussing that? He said, like, yeah, send through a proposal. And then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll send through a proposal. And anyway, we ran a series of nightclubs at that thing, and it was the first time I'd ever made 10 grand in a night because we had 1,000 people pay $10 a head. And that was a lot of money and it was all cash and it was wild. And it was just literally just asking.
I have to say, a lot of people send me messages. I get many thousands of messages a week across my inboxes, LinkedIn, Instagram, the podcast, etc. And because I'm exposed to so many thousands of messages, as I'm sure you are, you get to see the variance in a good ask versus a bad ask.
Yeah.
Now, I want to drill down on that. What are the core components of a great ask?
The best ask has with or without you energy. With or without you energy is the energy that you have when this is going to happen with or without you. So essentially, when you say, we're going to be doing this filming and do you want to send some cameras and we'll put your logo at the bottom, it's happening with or without you. You can be the company that gets the logo or not, but it is happening with or without you. The worst asks are, I desperately need this to happen, and if you don't say yes, no one will ever say yes, and therefore I'll give up. So if I think about the best asks that come through, something is going to happen, and it's going to happen whether I'm involved or not, and I get to choose whether I want to jump onto that or not. And those are the most compelling, most exciting opportunities that get pitched. So I'll give you an example. When I first arrived in the UK, I had a suitcase and a credit card, and I'd never been above the equator. I arrive in London, and I'm going to launch a business in London. And within the first 2 weeks, I message all the people who are influential in my industry, and I basically say, I'm hosting a dinner party. There's going to be about 30 amazing people there who are the who's who of the industry. I've just arrived from Australia. If you'd like to come along to the dinner party, let me know and I'll allocate a spot to you. And within 2 weeks, I'd filled 30 spots at my dinner party. And they were all people who had massive databases. The biggest database was like 600,000 people. So I've got this dinner party, and I stand up and I say, I'm Daniel Priestley, and I've just arrived from Australia, and I'm going to be launching a business here. I thought I'd put together a dinner party just to kind of get to know everyone. I've got my diary with me. I'd love to make a time in the next couple of weeks to sit down and have a chat with you about how we could do a commercial partnership or a joint venture as part of our launch. I'll just come around and I'll make a time, and then other than that, enjoy the evening. So I walk around and I book 28 one-to-one meetings for the following 2 weeks. And everyone who I had a one-to-one meeting with knew that I had 28 other one-to-one meetings, and they could see that I'd hosted this party. Mind you, this dinner party cost like 1,500 quid. It wasn't nothing, but it wasn't a lot. So I then end up having these meetings, and everyone starts agreeing to support my launch. So I'm pitching into existence that we're launching this thing. And then the biggest database with 600,000 people, they say, yeah, we'll support your launch. So when we did the launch email campaign to everyone's database, we booked hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. We did 2 nights in Manchester, 2 nights in Birmingham, Milton Keynes, and then we did like 3 or 4 events in a row in London. We did £4 million worth of sales off the back of it in the first few months. It was interesting, that whole experience of just putting together a dinner party and getting everyone involved, but it had with or without you energy.